Aries, June is calling you to claim your abundance, not just in money, but in the joy of your home life, as well as in the power of your daily habits. This is a month where you could step into your greatest empowerment, your greatest discipline, your greatest consistency, all of those energies that are required for you to create your best reality and really start to shift your life. Hi, I'm Lindsay. If you are new here, and I'm a Western tropical zodiac astrologer, and my passion and why I'm here on this earth is to help transform people's lives. And I do that by reminding you how energetically powerful you really are, that you are a spiritual being, and it's likely you just have to release some limiting beliefs, reprogram your subconscious mind so you can actually manifest it all. So let's get going, Aries. We're going to start off this reading or this forecast by looking at the general transits in the sky, and then we are going to switch into week by week. But I'm not just going to give you the information, Aries. I'm going to help you understand what to do with the energy in the sky so you can use it to your greatest potential and actually change your life. It's really important to remember that astrology is an awareness tool, and it is up to you to take action. You've got to be an active participant in creating the reality and the life that you truly dream of living. All right, Aries, kicking off June, Mercury starts in the sign of Gemini in your third house. And Mercury is very at home in Gemini, the ruler of Gemini, and Virgo, of course, as well. And so you're likely focused in on communicating, on studying, on learning something new. It's a time where you might plan a short trip, quick weekend getaway. It's a time where you're more communicative, perhaps with your siblings, with your neighborhood in general. And you could even be reconnecting or chatting with somebody from your childhood, like an old childhood friend or somebody from a neighborhood you grew up in. And then on the 8th, Mercury enters into Cancer. And now your focus has shifted more to your home life. You might want to organize the home. You are more communicative with your family members. It might be a time where you're connecting more with your mother. The fourth house does rule the energy of the mother. And it could also be a time where maybe you're hearing news or you're gathering information around land or real estate, especially if you've been planning to buy a new home, to move homes. It's that type of energy in the sky. Then on the 26th, toward the end of the month, Mercury shifts into your fifth house now of your daily pleasures. This is you really fully enjoying life. And now you're mentally focused on having fun. You want to have a good time. You are a little bit flirty here perhaps, or communicating with a romantic interest, because the fifth house does involve romance. It could be a time where you're hearing news about your children or connecting more with your children, in communication with your children, because the fifth house also rules children. It could also be a time where you just feel good and optimistic about expressing yourself. Mercury, the planet of communication, in this fifth house of self-expression and creativity. And it's also a time, if you're an entrepreneur, where you might decide to launch something out to the universe. Moving on to Venus, the planet of love and money. You're starting off the month with Venus in your first house, which makes you quite magnetic, popular, charismatic, very social. You're full of self-love. You're not afraid to carve your own path with Venus in the first house. And you are really bold and courageous here. People are seeing you in a very high vibrational way. And it could also be a time at the beginning of the month where you decide to kind of switch up your style. Maybe you're going to switch up your hair or your beauty routine, something like that, because Venus does rule beauty in this first house of who you are and how you present out to the world. Now it gets really beautiful, Aries, because Venus enters into Taurus on the 6th into your second house. The energy of money in your second house of money. Could it get any better? I don't know. So Venus is hanging out in your second house of money, and you're likely going to feel really empowered. This is a time where, for the rest of the month, if you have struggled with self-worth, tap in and really start to create some mantras around your worthiness. Aries, you are worthy because you exist. You don't need to do anything to be worthy. You were born worthy. We all were, we all are. So if you are struggling with self-worth issues, you may want to join the Cosmic Collective, and I can help you out with that. And if you don't want to join the Cosmic Collective, tap into this Venus energy and really fuel yourself with love, with Venus hanging out in your second house from the 6th to the end of the month. Now, Venus, the energy of love in your second house of empowerment, really beautiful. It's the second house of your skills and your talents as well. So you could really pour yourself into your gifts and your talents, really enhance your skill set. It could be a time where you decide to monetize your skill set, because Venus is also the energy of money in your money house. And remember, Aries, the second house is quite interesting because it involves your worthiness, it involves your gifts and your talents, and it involves your money. So one has got to feel worthy if one's going to showcase their gifts and talents, and one must showcase their gifts and talents to be paid by the universe, to earn money, to receive money in. So it's a good time to really tap into all of that energy. Now, this should already feel very exciting. We've got Mercury moving through the signs. We've got Venus in your house of money, but it gets even better because Mars starts off in your 5th house, where you're very assertive toward creating your best life. Remember, I talked about the 5th house when we were talking about Mercury, and the 5th house does involve romance, it involves children, it involves all the things that really light us up inside as it relates to our life. Being creative, being entrepreneurial, being connected, right? Romance, children. So you're excited here, you're moving and grooving in this area of life with Mars, the planet of action, in your house of total fulfillment and joy and happiness in your everyday life. This is also the energy, especially at the beginning of the month, where you might feel inclined to be more active, like from a it's this like sports energy, it's entertainment. So you might want to go to a concert, or you might want to go do something fun, like some fun and interesting date night, something that involves more of like the physical body versus like maybe sitting at a dinner, for example. It's also a good time if you are an entrepreneur to really put out your creative energy, really tap into your self-expression, assert yourself, let people know who you are, that you exist, this is what I do in the world type of energy. Then on the 17th, when Mars does enter into your 6th house now, into Virgo, this is a time where you're going to be really laser focused in on your daily life. You are going to figure out the best routines. It's a time to assert yourself in your work and make moves, provide value in your job. It's a time to be physically active. The 6th house involves your health and Mars is the planet of physical action. So you might decide to create a new workout routine with Mars hanging out in the 6th house from the 17th onward as well. Before I move on to your Jupiter expansion and abundance energy, make sure to hit the subscribe button if you're an Aries or no one in your life. All right, Aries, on the 9th, Jupiter transits into your 4th house of home and family. This is such a beautiful time over the next year where you can absolutely expect expansion and abundance to fill your home. Now, this could come in many different ways. From a very tangible perspective, it could be you expanding your family with the addition of children. It could be you moving to a bigger home. It could be abundance filling the home in the form of money even. And it's a time where everything just feels really nice in your home and family life. It's a happy time. Jupiter brings optimism. Jupiter brings the potential for better relationships within the home, better relationship with your mother even. And from a less tangible perspective, but an important perspective nonetheless, Jupiter is bringing stability to you and love to you for your energetic foundation. So the 4th house does involve the emotions of security. Are you secure with who you are, Aries? Are you cool with who you are? Do you show up as a very secure, confident person, or are you struggling with some jealousy tendencies? With Jupiter entering into your 4th house, it's a powerful time for you to set a nice, strong, energetic foundation for yourself to become very secure with all of who you are. And the more secure you are, the more confident you are in this physical reality, this kind of time-space matrix that we live in, you will be rewarded for that, because not everybody lives in that space. So you're living in a high vibrational way, like attracts like, it's the law of attraction. You will be rewarded for your strong energetic foundation. Aries, let's talk about the moons really quickly. There's a full moon happening on the 10th of June in your 9th house in Sagittarius. And this energy is asking you to release something specifically around your own thoughts, your own beliefs, your own life philosophy. And if you're having a hard time releasing, Aries, you can always make peace with. It's two sides of the same coin. Sometimes it's easier to release an experience and an emotion, and sometimes it's easier to simply accept it for what it is and keep things moving. And then on the 25th, there is a new moon happening in Cancer in your fourth house of home and family. So you've got Jupiter hanging out in Cancer, bringing the expansion and the abundance into the home. And there's also a new moon playing out here as well. So it's a great time to send out your desires as it relates to your home and your family life. Maybe you're manifesting a new home, a new city or state to live in, maybe a new country to live in even. Maybe you're manifesting a better relationship with your mother. Maybe you're manifesting a new addition on your home, a new addition to the family. There's so much you could be manifesting. And if it's nothing tangible, Aries, then manifest more security with who you are. Once again, setting that strong energetic foundation, because when you have a strong foundation, it's not as easy for you to crumble or be bothered by negative people, lower vibrational energy, and things of that sort. All right, Aries, let's do it. I am going to go week by week for you and kind of show you with annotations and by moving the chart what exactly you can expect week over week in June of 2025. And as always, I am just going to quickly remind you that I'm very positive. I don't doom and gloom astrology. I give you the most positive experiences that you can expect because I understand the power of my words, my thoughts, and my speech create my reality. And the same goes for you. So I want to give you the best opportunity, the highest vibrational potential in the sky, so you can use that to actually start to transform your life. So let's get going. I have my notes here. I have you here. I have my screen going. I'm very excited. This is the first time ever that I'm doing it this way. So thank you for being here. And let me know in the comments below if you enjoy it this way. All right, so you'll see down in the bottom corner of the screen, I just circled June 1st. This will move as we move through the chart. You'll be able to see the dates moving. So we'll start off with June 1st through the 8th. I'm calling this the week of good vibes and positive transformation. So let's get into why. You'll see right here, we're starting off June 1st with Saturn conjunct Neptune in the sky, right entering into Aries in your first house, sextiling Pluto up in your 11th house. Now, this is going to go on for a couple of months, right? Because these are considered outer planets, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, and the outer planets move a little bit slower in the sky than the personal planets do. So we can expect this to last for quite some time. So this is not going to be some quick impact thing. This is going to nicely and slowly unfold for you, assuming you use the energy nicely and in a transformative way. So we've got Saturn conjunct Neptune in the sky. What is Saturn? In the highest vibration, Saturn is the energy of maturity, of emotional intelligence, of your discipline and your responsibility. Conjunct Neptune in the sky, your dreams and your wishes fulfilled, your spiritual essence, your connection to the divine. So when I see these two in conjunction, what I'm looking at is your ability to actually create your dream life, to not just have these dreams swirling in the sky, but to bring them down to earth and to start to manifest them. It's like you finally found the discipline to march forward every single day toward your dreams and goals. And remember, Aries, it just takes small actions every single day to create an entirely new life. Now you have this nice sextile with Pluto up in your 11th house of people that you spend time with, your friends, groups and organizations, and your authenticity. And so with this sextile here, it's really giving opportunity for growth and evolution in the friendship zone. So do you need to perhaps release yourself from a friendship, Aries, or a group or organization that is no longer in alignment with the new version of you that you are bringing into life? That's a good question to ask yourself with this energy hanging out in the sky, and allow yourself to transform and release, if you need to, from friends, from organizations, even from old versions of yourself, so that you can step onto this new independent path. Right, because you've got this new life happening in your house of who you are, how you're perceived in the world, and how you show up and really create your own and carve out your own independent path. So that's happening all week in the sky. Also happening all week in the sky. Let's get rid of this really quickly. Also happening all week in the sky, Aries, is this Venus down here in your first house, sextile Jupiter in Gemini over in your third house. So once again, another sextile Sextiles are basically like the door is open. It's a nice harmonious aspect, but it's up to you to like really step through the door, right? So there's like an opening here, but you've got to take some action to use it and actually start to transform your life. So Venus in your first house, you're super magnetic, you're charged up, you're charismatic, you're popular. You might be changing your appearance in some way, showing up in a different look, different style, different haircut, different beauty routine. But sextile Jupiter, well, we've got this energy of Venus, money, Jupiter, abundance and expansion. Sextile, that's money, luck in the sky. It's like a kiss from the universe, so to speak. And it could be that you're receiving some sort of praise or money from a sibling, money from um, moving forward and communicating out your new life path with this Saturn, Neptune, Pluto energy in the sky as well. Either way, it's kind of feel good expansion in this area of life of your first house, who you are, how you're presenting to the world, and your third house of communication and you marketing yourself, selling yourself. This is a good time if you are in sales, marketing, if you're an entrepreneur, to share what it is you're doing. Maybe you have a new product to launch, maybe you need to make some phone calls, whatever it is, but you've got this money luck in the sky that's kind of just waiting for you to take it and accept it in. And then you also have, now this is going on through, let me get rid of this for you. Oops. This is going on for quite some time. Can show you down here in the slider with the dates, June 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. You've still got this Venus. I mean, the 5th is when it really ends. Venus is going to start to transition into Taurus. But until the 5th, you've got this money luck energy in the sky. You can see that you've still got Neptune hanging out with Saturn conjunct Pluto. I talked that that's going to be for a while. So you've got that energy in the sky as well. And on top of it, you've got, for also almost the entire week, starting on the 2nd, so let's go back a couple of days, you have got Mercury and Gemini, sextile, all these sextiles, positive transformation, taking a little bit of action, aligned action towards your goals. Mercury sextile Mars in the sky. And this is happening from the 2nd until about the 8th. You can watch the planets move in the sky. And you'll see right at the 7th mark, you see now down here, you've also got Mercury talking to Jupiter. So this is you having a plan and you taking action. Mercury, your communication, your strategy, your ideas, your intellect. Mars, taking action. And where you're taking action is in your 5th house of life's pleasures, of you enjoying your life, of you really stepping into fulfillment, happiness, ease. This is a good time to express yourself, to tap into your creativity. You might have a creative idea that brings some abundance. Right? You've got Jupiter and Mercury hanging out here, and you take action, and all of a sudden you've got money flowing in. Remember, we just talked about how we had Venus and Jupiter hanging out together as well a little bit before. You've got this new life path with the Neptune, Saturn, Pluto. So it's a powerful week in the sky, Aries, for you to really just start to create a really nice life for yourself, especially if you've been feeling a little bit unfulfilled lately. Now, it could also be that you receive news from somebody in your past, from your childhood, somebody in your neighborhood, around like romantic interests, because Mars is in your house of romance as well as your house of children. So you could be connecting with somebody romantically at this time as well. So if you're single or you're looking for somebody new, you might want to put yourself out there in that way. And once again, I think I mentioned entrepreneurial pursuits. You've got this intellectual, abundant energy kind of swirling together with Jupiter and Mercury down here, and Mars is a planet of action, and your 5th house is your entrepreneurial endeavors. So if you are an entrepreneur, this is a good time, Aries, to let the world know what you're doing and put it out there. Send an email to your list. Market yourself on social media. It's a really good time to take action toward your dreams and your goals. So that is like really an awesome start to June, and it's going to get better and better. I can get rid of this. All right. So on June 7th, we're down here on June 7th. You'll see now that you've got Venus in Taurus. Venus has now entered into Taurus. We talked about that earlier in the show. And we're squaring up with Pluto up here in Aquarius. Okay. So Venus square Pluto, Venus aspect to Pluto, no matter what, is very powerful when it comes to wealth creation. I'm not talking like a kiss, money kiss in the sky, Venus, Jupiter energy. I'm talking money, millionaire, billionaire energy in the sky. And you've got Venus in your second house of money, and you've got Pluto in your 11th house of the money that you earn from your career. And also benefactors and allies, people that want to support you and help you to create your money visions, right? So this is big money energy, but you could also be experiencing perhaps some shifts in relationships, right? We've got Pluto in your 11th house of friends, groups and organizations you belong to. This is the energy of perhaps some deep-seated healing, especially as it relates to your self-worth. You've got Venus, the energy of love in your second house of self-worth. So you could be experiencing one or all of these things. It could be, big changes monetarily. It could be deep healing. It's a good time to work on deep healing, especially if you're struggling with your self-worth, Aries. But I'd like to plant a belief into your mind, which is you are worthy and deserving because you exist. You don't need anything that dictates your worthiness. You are worthy because you're alive. So tap into that if you're struggling with worthiness issues. So this energy, I erased it, but this Venus Pluto energy goes on. You can see down here on the slider, on the calendar, it goes on for a while until about the 12th. It's the strongest on the 9th. That's when they're really kind of connected from a degree perspective. But until about the 12th, you've got this energy of healing and stepping into your worthiness, potentially shifts in relationships around friendships. Maybe if friendships and money are involved, it could get a little dicey. So, be mindful there. All right, so entering into the second week of June, starts on June 9th through the 15th. Aries, I'm calling this week the week to get right with yourself. So starting on the 9th, let's start at the beginning. We have got Mercury conjunct Jupiter. You can see that right here. Jupiter has now entered into Cancer. We talked about that earlier on in the video. And squaring up here with this conjunction between Neptune and Saturn in your first house. So here, this is, squares bring opportunity for transformation. That's the way I see them. If we're looking at what's kind of a good aspect or a bad aspect, we could say that squares and oppositions are kind of challenges or catalysts or triggers that bring transformation, whereas conjunctions, sextiles, and trines are nice, harmonious, energetic flows. I don't have challenges in my life. I don't have problems in my life. I have opportunities for my soul's growth and evolution. And I hope that you can see it the same way, Aries, because when you flip your mindset into that space, you become very empowered and powerful. So you might be feeling like you're ready to step into this new life. You've got this first house conjunction here, new life, new path. Um, and and at the same time, you've got big dreams, big ideas. Mercury, Jupiter, expansive ideas around family, around your home life, around maybe a real estate portfolio, land, something like that. And it's like you want to communicate them out. You want to shout it from the rooftops. Um, but you're feeling a little bit of friction between like your own path perhaps and like your family path. It's kind of that type of energy around creating your big dreams, really sharing your big dreams, creating your big dreams with Mercury, Jupiter, and grounding them into reality here with the Saturn, Neptune vibes. So you'll have to see how that plays out. Could almost feel like you have big dreams for not only you and your family, but also yourself. And maybe you're also trying to figure out, Aries, how to combine the two or make them work together so that everybody wins. It could be that as well. So that's happening from the 9th until about the 11th. By the 11th, Mercury moves pretty quickly in the sky and it's kind of already over. You can see there, Mercury's moving along. But all week from about the 10th until the 18th, we'll go back to the 10th here. You have got Venus here in Taurus, sextile Mercury in Cancer. All right, so Venus, the energy of love in your house of money, in your house of gifts and talents, hanging out with Mercury, sextile Mercury in your house of family, of land, of real estate. Um, this is really strong manifesting power because remember to manifest, you need your thoughts and your speech. That's very much Mercurian energy in alignment with your actions, Mars energy, but also in alignment with your heart and your soul, Venus energy. So here, this is personal magnetism turned on, manifesting power turned on as it relates to your family, as it relates to your home, as it relates to the money you earn. Could be like a good work from home situation from a very tangible perspective. It could be family business. It could be selling a home, selling land, selling real estate, selling property, buying even. It's really powerful. It could be good news about your mother. You got Mercury in your fourth house. Inheritance will, I don't want to go like that way because it's a positive energy, but something to do with like your mother and money, perhaps even. All right, so let's keep moving there, moving on. So this happens, let me get my cursor back here. Can watch the chart, the calendar down here, and you can watch Venus is kind of moving in the sky together with Mercury until about the 15th. This is when they kind of start to split off. You can kind of see that it's still hanging out on 15th. This is kind of where it ends. 16th, 17th. You have that magnetic energy in the sky. So enjoy that. And finally, for the week of getting right with yourself, getting right with your manifesting power, getting right with your family and your independent path, you have got, oops, the 9th through the 15th. So we'll start on the 9th. Showcase what's going on here. You've got Uranus in Taurus down here. Ooh, I'm really drawing some big circles today. I don't love it because I like to draw little circles and then watch them move out of the circles. Uranus in Taurus, square Mars in Leo. All right, so Uranus in the highest vibration, the energy of innovation, the energy of releasing and dismantling things that are not serving you so that you can step into greater alignment with your soul's desires. Mars in the highest vibration, boldly, courageously taking aligned action towards your dreams and your goals in a square between your second and your fifth houses. I mean, these are your money houses. You might be feeling a little bit stuck in a rut. Like there's like a little bit of a frustration there between like maybe your creative potential and the money that you're earning because of your creative potential. You could feel ready to kind of like you kind of want to like break free. It's almost like you might feel like you've been stuck in a rut. It could be a money rut, right? Because you've got Uranus up in here in your second house. It could be a rut around your own like gifts and talents. Maybe you've had some creative blocks, and maybe because of that, you're not really feeling tapped in or connected to your talents as much. But there's a little bit of a bubble underneath the surface, a little bit of frustration, but it's a catalyst, right? It's a catalyst for you to break free. And so, you might be feeling a little bit sassy at this time, specifically around money matters and around really enjoying your life to the fullest. So something to be mindful of there, but remember, use it as fuel, spark your creative power, and take action toward greater alignment and transforming your life. All right, the third week of June, I'm calling the 16th through the 22nd. I'm calling this the week of go big or go home, Aries. So there's one thing to talk about this week. I'm only going to talk about one, and that is Jupiter in Cancer, sextile. And let's see, we'll have to slide this because it doesn't look like Mars has fully entered into Virgo yet. Oops, the 17th. We got one more day. There we go. Sextile Mars and Virgo. So here you've got this big abundance, expansion, energy, and harmonious aspect with Mars in your sixth house of your daily work and health routines. Now, Mars in the sixth, you're ready to go. You're taking action toward your job. You've got the routine. You're making moves. You're bossing up. And because of it, you might be getting the raise. You might be noticed by your boss, by your manager, whoever. It's bringing abundance into your home life. This is a time for you to really take some big, bold action in your daily life, in your home life, bring that expansion in some way, somehow. We talked earlier about maybe like a family business type energy. Maybe that's something you start to do at this time. How else could this play out for you? It could also play out that, something good in your health routine or with as it relates to your health. Good news there. You're taking action toward your health. And of course, when we're healthier, we're happier. So that's bringing kind of some abundance and expansion into your home life. But I kind of see this more as like something good happening with work. And because it's happening with your work, it's bringing money and expansion and abundance into the home. And and that's the way I'm seeing this play out. And that's really the big aspect for the entire week. We can take you through down here on the calendar, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, and there you have it. And then they kind of move on from each other. Which leads us, Aries, into the final week of June, the 23rd through the 30th. And I'm calling this week the week to manifest it all. There is some big energy in the sky. First, let's start with this Jupiter Cazimi down here in your fourth house of home and family. Once again, I am not doing so well at drawing these circles. Jupiter Cazimi, this is when it appears that a planet has been kind of engulfed into or entered into the heart of the sun. And what happens here is just huge expansion, energy, amplification of the energy. And Aries, this is the energy of abundance and expansion in your home life. There's a lot happening in the home life this month for you. And I mean, it could be bigger home from a tangible perspective, buying the land, putting the addition on the house. It could be expanding the family. Maybe you're moving somebody into your home, your mother, your mother-in-law, your in-laws, your cousins, something like that. But also family expansion, having children, adopting, whatever that looks like for you, if that's something that's in the cards for you. So this is happening on the 24th. And then we'll kind of just watch the the calendar, and then we've got, oops, I went too far. We've got on the 25th this new moon. Look at that. Look at that down there. So not only did you just have a Jupiter Cazimi, but now you got the new moon. So if nothing big and bold happened on the 24th for you in the family life, and you want something big and bold to happen for you, the new moon is the time to manifest that. Manifest the big house, manifest the mansion, the land, the homestead, the family, the children, whatever, Aries. This is your time to shine and really blast it out to the universe. And then we've got from the 26th to the 30th, let me get there for you, a couple of things happening simultaneously, of course. Of course, because what is astrology if not? We've got, once again, this Neptune conjunct Saturn energy in the sky, trine Mercury in Leo. Now, Mercury doesn't look like he's in Leo yet, so let's slide the time now that Mercury's in Leo there. Trine Mercury in Leo, okay? So, you are ready to speak what it is you are creating in your life and speak it out in a way and self-express it out in a way that you really do start to carve your own path. You're like letting people know you've got the plan. You're thinking of your greatest pleasures in life. You're ready to take action towards those greatest pleasures in your life. But not only that, but Mercury, the energy of communication, and Neptune, the energy of spiritual communication. So it wouldn't surprise me if you start receiving some downloads like clairaudience, lots of synchronicities, signs, you keep hearing the same song on the radio, something like that. And you're receiving these downloads, and these downloads are helping you to bring your dreams with discipline and emotional maturity down to earth and create this new life path for yourself in the first house of your I am. This is that I am. Who are you, Aries? Right? So that's happening on the 26th through the 30th. But you can also see that we've got here Mercury in Leo, opposite Pluto in the sky. Oops, that was a bad line. You guys get the idea. Opposite Pluto in the sky at the same time. What a busy sky, huh? So An opposition is a tug of war of sorts, right? There's this internal push and pull of energies. And here you've got Mercury, your speech, your communication, and your house of self-expression. Across the sky from Pluto, deep, transformative, going beneath the surface, regeneration, life, death, birth, rebirth, in your 11th house of authenticity. And it's like, should I say it? Should I not? Should I say it or keep it deep within my soul? Is it time for me to go do it and create, or do I need to, keep healing? It's but in an interesting way, because it is a catalyst, it could give you the power of your voice, Mercury here, Pluto power, the power of your voice to manifest your greatest life's pleasures, fifth house. So Aries, you get to decide, how are you going to use this energy, right? It's always up to you. And remember, you create your reality by aligning your thoughts, by aligning your speech, your feelings, your emotions, and your actions. So when you figure this out, this is the manifesting formula. There's nothing more to it. To pick the path that has a heart, follow that path, and let your higher self guide you.